The Flash and Arrow are on. I'm having.
They're on TV.
They're on TV. I'm having my 17th brain fart of the night.
We came into this prepared, and then I threw them right off.
Yes, but I do believe that they're in the same They're not in the same universe, whereas opposed to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Agent Carter are supposed to be in the still part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, although they refuse to acknowledge. I'm really mad at you now because you completely have me off my game here. Agent Coulson, as far as the cinematic universe, the movies universe is concerned, Coulson is still dead.
Poor Coulson.
Whereas he's the central character on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I do think part of going back.
That's why I couldn't stand it, because it's just so wrong.
But the thing is, there is actually an episode where Coulson meets up with one of Thor's fellow Asgardians, and she says, "Oh, Thor will be very pleased to hear you're alive." And he says, "I would rather tell him myself." So it may be that, as far as everyone is concerned in the movie, universe, he's dead because Coulson has chosen not to let anybody know that he's dead, and I
think that's a crappy storyline.
I don't know. You just have you're
shallow.
A hater.
I'm shallow-minded. I'm the anti-everything to his pro.
Well, not completely, because you and I, agree on one thing. Daredevil is the best, comic book television series that came out this year.
Oh, I agree. We disagree on the fact that I believe that Gotham is a near second.
And for me, I think it's The Flash.
See, I can't get into The Flash. I don't know.
It's because you're warped and twisted,
That's true. And see, Gotham appeals to my blood, guts, I'm gonna shoot you up personality.
Yeah, because, you're a huge fan of the Walking Dead.
Yeah, Walking Dead, Game of Thrones. I've started watching Merlin again, which is by far one of the greatest series I've seen in a while.
And see, I couldn't get into Merlin. I tried on multiple occasions to sit down and watch episodes. And one of my friends outside of us, you're not my only friend, but my friend Mark is a huge fan of Merlin, and has on multiple occasions tried to get me to sit down and watch episodes with him, and I just couldn't get into the show.
I don't think anyone really can. It's one of those shows either you like it or you don't. It's the same with Gotham. I love Gotham. One heck of a first season.
It was. I'll say this: it was a great season. I watched into the series. I think I actually dropped out near the end for a couple of episodes because
Gotham dropout.
But I came back for the season finale, which absolutely blew my mind.
Oh, one of the best season finales I've seen in a long time.
Honestly, to me anyways, while I don't think it was necessarily the best series that DC put on, let alone, any comic book series, for me, it had the best season finale out of
absolutely.
Anything. That's even including Daredevil. I don't even think Daredevil was up to
because
that.
they appealed to so many senses. They kept everybody waiting and hoping and wondering, and it hit whole new levels.
Yeah. So this going back onto topic, Jason Momoa, I believe his name is, who was in the Conan movie that came out a few years ago.
Conan the Barbarian.
He was in first season of Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Where he played another barbarian.
Barbarians for the win.
Barbarians for the win. And he was also on Stargate Atlantis throughout its run. So
which I never once saw.
Another one of the series I tried to get in. It's funny because for me, Stargate the movie is one of probably my top 10 favorite non-comic book sci-fi movies of all time. But, and I have, like, the complete series of Stargate sitting, Blu-ray in my rec room.
Collecting dust
because I haven't actually sat down to watch the series. But I was like, okay, I'll watch it. And I have Netflix, and I have...
Netflix is a godsend.
Yeah. And I don't actually have cable, so a lot of the stuff I watch is... shows I watch are the next day. Yeah. Just because, I can't be, bothered.
Oh, see, Netflix is perfect for those people on the go. They have lots of superhero movies for people like us. They have lots of superhero TV shows. They have anime. It's just amazing. It blows my mind, everything that they have.
But I guess my question is, based off of, what a badass the Jason Momoa is, do you think that we're finally going to have someone who can actually make Aquaman look like an actual man? Because, he's been demasculated, so often.
He's been demasculated ever since Aquaman was made.
And, there's a couple of, cartoons and in some of the comic books where, they sort of make him a little bit macho.
Well, I have an actual comic book with Aquaman, which is a very rare find, with a special appearance from Batman. And they introduced Batman to try to boost the masculinity of Aquaman, and it failed.
Yeah,
Aquaman has always been this weak, dolphin-hugging pansy.
And here... And, every time I think of Aquaman, I think back to the costume party that was done on an episode of The Big Bang Theory.
Oh.
And Raj, goes off and bellyaches that he has to be, Aquaman. While everyone else gets the cool superhero, he gets stuck doing Aquaman, and he actually hates it.
And I don't think even having Jason Momoa playing as Aquaman, it's going to change. Aquaman has always been a joke.
And I don't know, because of the dark tone that this whole series is going. I'm wondering, we're not going to see some sissy, Aquaman here. And there's also discussion that Aquaman will be also appearing in a role in Suicide Squad as well.
Which we are all waiting with hope and anxiousness.
Yes.
Jared Leto looks like possibly one of the scariest Jokers we've seen.
Well, considering this, honestly, Jack Nicholson, to me, was never really a scary...
Oh, it was about a comedy for him.
It's funny because the... Mark Hamill's version of the Joker, on the cartoons, which was meant for kids, always creeped me out more. That, to me... was, a really creepy...
Yeah, Jack Nicholson's meant to be, a funny guy. He wasn't meant to be a scary...
Honestly, he went in there and it felt like, just, the fact that...
Another day in the office.
It was another day in the office for him, and, he was there to get a paycheck, and his name is Jack Nicholson. It was right on top of Batman. It wasn't Michael Keaton who actually was Batman. Yeah. He had,
it was the big name.
It was the big name in that movie. And so, and he was bad. But Heath Ledger just
blew it away.
Blew away. He was absolutely creepy.
And unfortunately, I think Jared Leto looks by far a creepier, scarier Joker.
And that kind of worries me to a certain degree because after The Dark Knight, Heath Ledger became very tormented, and it sadly led to his death.
Yeah, he was seeing nightmares of the Joker every time he went to bed. And
I remember hearing stories of where he called Chris Columbus. I think it was Chris Columbus who directed it.
Honestly, I can't remember. I barely focus on directors. I focus on the characters and the storyline.
I apologize. I really want to come off as sounding like I actually have some idea of what I'm talking about. And so whenever I go off and say something where I'm not really sure about, I feel like, damn, someone's going to go off and say, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about.
And then he asked me, and I'm more clueless than him.
So, but anyways, he went off and he would talk, phone or send notes to the director about different things that he was trying to do to try to make, to perfect his Joker, and one of them was trying to be able to talk like one of those old wooden,
puppets,
ventriloquist dummies. Which, I mean, in itself is sounds really creepy.
I think the Joker is a curse. I really do. Like, even Jack Nicholson, as funny his character as he played the Joker, even he said he had a hard time, sleeping afterwards because of the Joker. It makes you wonder, with a mild character like that, how bad was Heath Ledger's?
I don't know, but, honestly, I have a hard time believing that Jack Nicholson had a hard time with the Joker, considering that character was nowhere near as creepy as him being the devil in Witches of Eastwick, which he did, several years before that.
Yeah, it's probably narcotics and everything else mixed in, but...
Well, yeah, that's probably a big thing.
But Jared Leto is rumored, and we say rumor because we don't know 100% whether this is true or not. He likes to stay in character 24/7, which is a very scary thought considering, how Heath Ledger ended up, who also was rumored to do the same. But he's also...
this is actually Jay Courtney, who is also appearing in the movie. They went off, and he's listed. He's playing Boomerang, from what I understand, and he has went off. And when people have asked him about Leto, he refers to his style as skirting around the fringes of method. And he's pretty much, he said that he's never been actually able to talk to Leto out of character, so he doesn't really know how Leto's doing and how he feels about how he's doing.
Which is kind of a scary thought when you think about it, because, no one actually knows how Leto himself is actually doing. They just know how the Joker is doing. How the
Joker's doing. I mean, and this isn't a new thing. Several years ago, Jim Carrey, when he was doing the Andy Kaufman biopic, he did the exact same thing. Yeah, to the point where if you tried to talk to him, you had to address him as Andy. He refused to.
And see, that's the scary thing, because there's certain roles out there, the Joker obviously being one of them, where, you question the smartness on it. The intelligence of playing a character like that all the time.
I think to a certain degree, and I mean, there's a lot of different characters. I've grown up in a Christian home, and people that who portrayed demons or the devil in the plays that we put on for Easter, they actually had to get people to constantly be praying with them, because if they didn't, they could become very tormented afterwards. I mean, and they weren't even acting that evil or anything. It was just allowing these negative, energy in.
Yeah, and to be able to, to be in character 24/7, you can only imagine the turmoil that they're going through, but not releasing it because they refuse to leave character.
Yeah, and so I'm not really sure how you. I'm not sure. I mean, there's no way that can be healthy.
Oh, absolutely not. So, Jared Leto, get out of character.
Yes.
Please, we want to see you in more. We're looking forward to Suicide Squad. Everybody, and I mean everybody, has always been waiting for something like this. Suicide Squad is probably one of the most darkest versions of the,
It's just...
supervillains.
I mean, and it's really is interesting. You could you can go on the line, and there's almost new stuff about being leaked out of Suicide Squad almost every night.
Which is, by far the only other movie that's been leaked this much is Star Wars.
I don't even know if that much has been leaked. Where they've actually shown footage, there's a scene where they actually show the Joker smacking around Harley Quinn before she actually becomes Harley. I can't remember what her real name is.
Yeah, I've only ever known her as Harley Quinn.
But, I mean, she was actually a psychiatrist before.
Which is ironic.
Which is ironic. But her involvement with Joker actually leads to her, kind of going off the deep end and, becomes his, sidekick.
Which, you got to question one point. Has she not progressed past the sidekick point?
Honestly, you go to any comic book convention and you see the number of women who dress up as Harley Quinn, and I think